I thought mining Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies seemed really cool. So I bought an Amish shed, dropped it right next to my house, pulled a bunch of electricity into it, then dropped $100,000 in hardware. And I didn't have $100,000. I leveraged a lot of that on credit cards and other things. I did utilize new cards with 0% APR, and I basically gave myself a runway. My business was new, it was unproven. Nobody would lend to me, and I didn't really even want anyone to lend to me, other than obviously the credit card usage. But essentially, I put it all on the line. And, well, to be blunt, there's a lot of things I regret about this mining shed. My name is Vosk, and I'm going to tell you the story of what went right and, well, actually not. No, actually, what went wrong. So behind me is a normal shed, but I'm by this shed today to show you some things that there's some similarities, and it'll kind of help me explain. Obviously I'll use on-screen visuals, but even just point to some things here. But my plan on the original shed was pretty simple-minded. Low air in, okay, and then send the hot air out. So cool air in, low, hot air out. So how do you do that? Intake vents, not fans, towards the floor, and then utilize a home exhaust fan and utilize redundancy, which proved to be incredibly forward-thinking based on the reliability, or really lack of reliability, with these ceiling vents. So I set up a couple shelves, pulled the electricity in, and I specifically had 4 30-amp circuits, L6 30P, or I always get this wrong, but it's L6 30 plug, and that's what I'm using with the L630R, the receptacle to plug into that. On that we use PDUs, basically industrial grade. They're not exactly like surge protectors, they're more of like circuit extenders. They give you a bunch of hookups, they give you a bunch of connections. Specifically, there's C13, C14, and C19 and C20 cables. I know I'm saying it a little bit fast, but look at the on-screen diagrams and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. One of the things I could have done is I could have done floor vents, and my shed was on 4x4 skids, and this is also on skids. You can see this, and basically down here you can see that it's elevated, which means that air runs through there, and we could put vents only there, and that would have been a better setup than putting vents on one side and then having exhaust through the roof. I also made a mistake in the design. I had a ridge vent. A ridge vent is basically an opening, okay, in the top of the shed. And when you look inside this shed, you'll see there is no ridge vent opening. And that's great for a normal shed. It allows airflow. But I don't want openings that we don't need, because that leads to air being pulled in and out in basically the wrong spots. You think of air in a mining farm, in a mining shed, it's kind of like on a highway, and you want it's congested and it's critical, and you want this shit going the exact ways that you want it to do. So I really regret using they were dryer vents, I think, and they were like 4 inches, and that's all I could pretty much find that seemed like safe from water at my local Lowe's. So I cut a bunch of them in down the side, and they weren't enough CFM, which is like cubic feet per minute, but that's the wrong term there. Basically, I didn't have enough surface area for this air to move through. I didn't have enough intake area. So it's like sucking air through a straw. That was one issue. These 3 fans moved a ton of air. They would slam this door so hard that it would break your fingers. It's pretty cool, but kind of dangerous. And again, they proved to be unreliable. Over the course of having them, they all broke. And I didn't run them all at the same time either. Normally I was fine just running 2 of them. In the winter, sometimes I would actually only run 1. There is a thing is getting your mining rigs too cold. Virginia gets very hot in the summer and sometimes pretty cold in the winter. But some reason I didn't like these fans. They're residential grade, China made, and they just weren't all that good. And finding like an industrial grade warehouse fan, slapping it on the back would have been a better solution. Because of where these intake vents were, I had to put my shelves right up against the wall. And that's one of my biggest regrets in this, is I could never access that side, ever. I've got to pull everything out to get to the front of it, to examine it, to maintain it, to clean it, whatever. That proved to just simply be annoying, cumbersome, and a bad design. One way you could tackle that, for example, in this, what I'm going to do, and this is the mining shed 2.0 I've been working on. It's still obviously under construction, but I'm going to put a wall in right here. I'm going to wall it off, 2 doors. I can get to the front and the back. The front and the back of what? I'm going to run shelves down the middle of this. There's going to be an intake side and an outtake side. So I'll have big intake vents on this side when I run all the calculations, see the exact surface area I need, and the fans on the miners will pull the air in, and it'll be the only place they can pull from, because I'll use a foam board like they use in most mining farms, because it's cheap and easy to make modular. You just cut out the holes where your miners go pretty much, and if you mess up or you change a bunch later, it's pretty easy and simple and cheap to replace. Then on this side, I'll just have more vents. Or some people advise that I should put a big exhaust fan here, or even 2. And I don't know. I'm contemplating it. I may put one on and then just not even run it unless I need to. That would be a little less redoing if needed. So then I'll have the opening, right? And then I'll have additional basically firepower to move that air if I need to. But that was one of my biggest regrets by far. It was just a rudimentary design there. And there wasn't that much information out. And really, I had the first fully documented mining shed on YouTube. I'm not saying that like a flex. There's a bunch of mining shed projects on YouTube now, and back then it was just maybe like, one-off video here and there. I actually documented and modeled my stuff after elaborate threads I found on Bitcoin Talk, which no one even uses anymore, because ironically the original forum pretty much about Bitcoin for Bitcoin practices heavy censorship. Well, all those guys pretty much made it and quit, and just some dweebs running it now, which is exactly why, shameless plug, we launched a VoskCoin Talk, a free forum for cryptocurrency that we won't censor you unless you're a scammer or a spammer. But yeah, basically airflow is a tricky and difficult thing, just to put it simply there. I'm evaluating shelves. Everybody seems to pretty much use wire shelves. I would actually kind of like flat shelves with a flat bottom, because with that I would be able to control the airflow a little bit more, and there wouldn't be air moving like around the device. I need air moving through the device, because through the device hits the hash boards. The hash boards are what's consuming all the electricity. It's what's running. It's what's very hot. It's exactly why the fans are on it, to push air over them to cool them. Using an ambient air setup will mean that I just use the air around. There's no AC unit, none of that stuff. It doesn't work for deployments like this. It's energy inefficient, more equipment, more cost, just end up with a worse final product. So again, Virginia gets hot, but even the hottest air here is gonna be cooler moving over these hash boards, these circuit boards, than nothing. You may have noticed the shape of my new mining shed is rectangular, and my previous mining shed was almost cube. It's boxy, right? And that again limited what I could do and how. My mining shed in essence is going to be built like the shipping container mining farms. It's longer, and I specifically shrunk it down a little bit so that there's not too much area in it, which means that I have a rack of miners, enough room for me to be able to service the miners and the building and air filters, which I'll talk about on this building, without excess. Excess just creates more work and trying to direct this air around. So that is something that I noticed with basically everyone else's designs, and my hobbyist cube, again, I found limiting and hard to work with. And once you start cutting holes in things, it's a little more, it's not as easy to put them back. One thing I always worried about but never ran into an issue, because I used an absolute ridiculous amount of sealant on the roof, was the roof vents. Cutting holes in the roof, sitting over electronics worth thousands of dollars. Not a flex, it's actually a stress, right? Sun's gonna degrade that over time. Big storm comes through, fries it, or maybe even worse, right? Always the concern. Fortunately, never happened. One of my other big regrets and even just lazy development was the air filter situation. I used just a basic like mesh material I got from Lowe's initially, and then after I expanded the vents because eventually I realized I don't have nearly enough airflow in here, and it's because it's constricted where we're pulling the air in from. And once I expanded that, I had to redo the mesh, and my busy ass, lazy ass, just didn't get it done ass, never even put the mesh back up. I wanted to move to a different filtration type setup, and I just never did it. So I was just running it raw. No filter, no nothing, safety last. All my equipment got very dirty, very dusty, very gross. Bugs, dirt, a disgusting amount of pollen. Was all up in, on, around, all that stuff. It created this disgusting just film on everything in that building. It's really gross, and it's not good for longevity, and really that's the only important piece other than the gross factor, pretty much. I mean, just think about moving all that air 24/7, 365. It's not like you just left the door open, right? Or you have like an open building and the wind blows a little bit in. We're in a wind tunnel forever. A lot of shit gets pulled in there, and not all of it makes its way out, especially the heavier particles. I haven't settled on a filtration system here yet, but it absolutely will happen. And I'll let you know here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel when I decide and figure that out and deploy it. But it's not a if, a maybe, it's a we're definitely doing this. We just got to go and figure out exactly how and what. Another thing I severely regret about that mining shed is the non-modular way in which I built it. I knew I wasn't going to stay at that home forever. I've since moved and moved on from that mining shed in the process. I actually sent it to my dad's, and we're in talks turning it back on. But his residential electric right there is kind of just terrible. So anyway, that's another day, another subject. But that proved to be very difficult to do, and I didn't have a way to store it, and I didn't have a way to easily move it. And I wish that I had built that on a trailer. Its sizing would have allowed me to do that. In essence, if you think of like a tiny home on a trailer, easy to move around, easy to pick up and drop off and whatever else. And if I had done something like that, it would have been much easier to move that around, and I may have kept it in my possession. Also, if you remember way back when, I helped some friends build a mining farm with a similar design. Basically the same exact issue there. We lost the access to that location. That mining shed had to be either moved or abandoned, and they capitulated in the 2018 bear market. But ultimately, if that had been built on a trailer as well, it would have opened the opportunities for what to do. And there is the option of, well, what if you would have tried to move it onto a trailer and affix it to that? That's true. That was a possibility, but given the market conditions and all the other projects and obligations at that time, I did not go that route, which I kind of regret that as well. Instead, on my mining shed, picked it up with a unique shed trailer. It was really cool device. If you look at this footage, basically that was a one-time move and dump, and that thing's in its resting place now. It'll be there forever. It was very difficult to get it to that spot. Moving sheds through mud is difficult and really damaging to soft yards. And probably my biggest regret of all is the fact that I listened to everybody saying it was too late to mine Bitcoin. I wish that the backbone of my mining farm had been built for Bitcoin mining, which is exactly what I'm doing now in my 2.0 renewed effort and design, because Bitcoin's here to stay. Bitcoin's awesome, okay? And all of these altcoins, other cryptocurrencies, okay, some of them have bright futures. Some of them absolutely do not. And with the BTC farm, I can set it, forget it, know it'll be good here in 10 years. And again, I'm playing the long game. That's also why solar's coming into play, Bitcoin's going to be here forever, in my opinion, and that means Bitcoin mining will be here. I don't care about halvings and this and that, whatever. Sure, you know, we'll see what happens, but I imagine that the price will more or less, if not continue to outpace the reduction in emitted coins per day compared to a USD valuation. Essentially, what I'm saying in a little bit of a convoluted way is that Bitcoin will continue to be profitable to mine, and especially actually in retrospect, be very profitable to mine. But hey, it's a calculated gamble, it's a bet, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not trying to shit on all the other cryptocurrencies. I'm a total DeFi degen. I'm a coiner. I'm whatever you want to call me. I love all the cryptocurrencies. But when it comes to mining, I'm actually more of a set it and forget it guy. Spec mining is proven to be, you know, at times incredibly lucrative, and other times a complete loss. I really do enjoy it, and it will continue to be a key piece of what I do, but I want the backbone of this to just be rocking away on good old SHA-256, the Bitcoin mining algorithm. I'm really excited for all this. If you've been watching this video this long, I hope you're excited too, to just, you know, follow along with me on this crazy crypto journey. You know, for better and worse, you know, it's gonna go great or I'm gonna get blown the fuck up. But you know, that's life, and that's kind of fun and exciting in a sometimes stressful way. We're also expanding into more short form content, so if you could please follow us on TikTok, watch out for our YouTube shorts, and also Instagram Reels. I'll be honest, I don't really like short form content. I don't even really watch it, but apparently pretty much everyone else does. So before I become extinct, I'd like to have a little bit of an evolution pivot here and, you know, get some stuff on there. So if you haven't already, please head over to those platforms, give us a follow, and support the content there if you use them. If not, well, that's fine. And yeah, thanks for watching, seriously, and I'll see you on the next video. And you thought I forgot, though. Of course we're going to close out the video with not 10, but 20 seconds of tails. The cutest Shiba Inu in the world. The #1 Doge. The Dogest coin of Doges. Whatever. She's the queen of the kingdom. And she don't need no king.